Hi, this is James Melendez, James the Wine Guy. Today I want to present this bottle. It's by the family producer Ricominicare. This is a Argentinian blend, 60% Cabernet Franc, 40% Cabernet Sauvignon, 14% alcohol, 2006 vintage, and this comes from the Valle de Uco in Mendoza, Argentina. So this wine is, and by the way, Ricominciare would also be an Italian word to begin anew. So that's kind of a nice way of talking about not just Argentinian wines, but blends in general, because I think a lot of people don't realize that they probably are enjoying a blend, even though maybe the bottle is 100%, quote unquote, it looks like it's 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, whatever it may be. So I think that that is to begin anew, because when we think of Bordeaux blends, we automatically assume that there's a blend. And then when it comes to the American or probably any other wine producing region, we think that if it's generally 100% of whatever is on the label, despite the fact that there's probably additional components that build up to make that wine. So in the US, it's 75% of that varietal. It can be called a Cabernet Sauvignon, despite it having Merlot, Malbec, Petit Verdot, etc. So I think that's kind of a good thing, in that blends offer a lot of good things. They offer a lot of artistic expression that if you have 100% varietal, that you may not get otherwise. So it may do some really good things for the wine, the base wine. So this being the 60% Cabernet Franc is really one of those wines that doesn't get a lot of respect. It gets a lot of those who have, individuals who really love Cabernet Franc, like the majority component of their wine to be this, if not 100%. And sometimes some other people have to warm up to this varietal because it's a very unique varietal. It gives you some notes that are perhaps a lot different in the familiar Malbec, Cabernet, Sauvignon world. But this is a truly respectable wine, really nice, and it's a dancing duo. So I think it's actually a really interesting thing that they picked 60% Cabernet Franc and 40% Cabernet Sauvignon. I would have not necessarily expected the other, or hoped that was the case, that it was a majority of this is Cabernet Sauvignon. I think it's a really nice expression because it's bringing up both things in this wine. It's bringing up some of the plum, bringing out some of the fruit, and balancing well with the acid and the alcohol level. And when I think of the Cabernet Franc, I think of the earthy mushroom quality, that scent of a plum orchard in fall time. So, and also when I think of the Cabernet Franc, it's really one of those wines that is so different that you may be tasting wine all day long if you're out in, say, a wine country, and then when you actually start back, you think, I'm tasting wine. And I know that sounds like a strange thing to say, but it's that point in the line, the line in the sand that says, okay, I can kind of palate cleanse. And that's not what Cabernet Franc is necessarily for. It's that enhancement. It's that quality to say, okay, this is why I drink wine. So this wine in particular gives some really nice notes. It gives some nice floral bouquet to this wine. Roasted dark cherry, baking spices, hint of vanilla, fennel, and chocolate dust. I'll have just a little bit of this. Nice, because this wine has a balance of tannins. It's not too tannic, but not too light either. And so the tannin gives some body, gives some characteristic, gives some structure to this wine. And I think that's a really elegant thing. And I think another thing is that in Argentina, we think of Malbec. That's all we think. And we should actually think beyond that, because this is a great growing region for the other Bordeaux varietals as well. So this is a true gift, and it's a really nice expression, knowing that this wine is from Argentina and that some really excellent blends can come from Argentina as well, not just the 100% Malbec. So I give this one a 9.3 out of my 10.0 scale. For more wine reviews, please go to jamesthewineguy.com. Please subscribe to my videos on YouTube, which is also James the Wine Guy, and that's the same as Twitter, James the Wine Guy. Salud.